Bryan Kohberger, the man convicted of murdering 4 University of Idaho students, sat expressionless as a judge dismantled the facade on July 23, 2025. You're listening to Whispers of Crime, Motive and Murder, the channel that brings you raw courtroom closeness and emotional confrontations. Subscribe now and hit the bell, because when justice is served, we deliver the story. July 23, 2025, the day of judgment. Kohberger entered the Ada County Courthouse in Boise in an orange prison jumpsuit, shackled and immobile. Observers described him as cold and robotic, displaying a rigid posture and furrowed brow. His emotional detachment suggested covert hostility masked as indifference. The sentencing hearing began, lasting about 3 hours, and featured over a dozen victim impact statements from families and surviving roommates of Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. Judge Stephen Hippler, visibly emotional, addressed the court for several minutes. He called Kohberger a faceless coward and praised the courage of the grieving families. Hippler emphasized that no rational motive could justify the crime and warned that searching endlessly for meaning only gives Kohberger more power. He then sentenced Kohberger for consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole for the 4 counts of first-degree murder, an additional 10-year term for the burglary, fines totaling $270,000, $50,000 per murder count, and $5,000 civil penalty per victim's family. Kohberger remained silent throughout, declining to address the court or show any remorse. Olivia Goncalves, Kaylee's sister, delivered an explosive address. She memorized her speech to maintain eye contact, calling Kohberger a delusional, pathetic hypochondriac loser, insisting he sit up straight and declaring, "Kaylee would have kicked your ass." She intentionally provoked his anger, saying she wanted to make him feel small. The courtroom erupted in applause after her speech. Steve Goncalves, Kaylee's father, lambasted Kohberger as a joke, foolish and stupid, and predicted he would be forgotten, reduced to 2 initials forgotten to the wind. He emphasized the unity of families against him and declared, "We will forget you." Christy Goncalves, Kaylee's mother, delivered her own statement, saying, "Hell will be waiting for Kohberger," and predicting lifelong misery as his state-appointed fate. Maddie Mogen's grandmother, Kim Cheeley, spoke of debilitating fear, grief therapy, and trauma endured by the family since the carnage. Surviving roommates Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk also spoke. Mortensen described ongoing PTSD and called Kohberger a hollow vessel, while Funk expressed guilt and love for the lost friends. Experts reviewed Kohberger's courtroom behavior, noting involuntary signs of discomfort, blinks, winces, shallow breathing, even as his outward expression remained flat. One expert described him as an empty vessel filled with hate. Authorities reiterated that Kohberger's motive remains unknown, and they do not know which of the victims was specifically targeted. Police also confirmed no proven social media connection between Kohberger and the victims. At a press conference post-sentencing, officials announced plans to release additional investigative files and forensic documents for transparency. Meanwhile, threatening messages aimed at Kaylee's mother, Christy, were reported during the hearing. The text claimed Kohberger was innocent and threatened sexual violence in prison, prompting authorities to investigate the source. On July 23, 2025, Bryan Kohberger's cold academic veneer shattered under the weight of grief and justice. For lives taken, for families left numb but relentless. As the sentence was read aloud, families reclaimed power, speaking truth into the void. The courtroom silence spoke volumes. Justice may have been served, but the hardest question still lingers. Why?